Eastland County Today Live, brought to you by Love Oak Pharmacy.
Introducing Love Oak Pharmacy's Pharmacy in a Box. We can fix your prescription mess. We offer all of these innovative services at no cost to you. Simplify your life. Your medication can be pre-sorted and organized into personalized pill packets. Each dose is labeled by day and time to make medication time simple. We'll help you pick up all of your monthly medication in one single visit to the pharmacy. This convenient refillable storage container is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Easily take your medication with you wherever you go. Transferring your prescriptions is easy. Just give us a call and talk to one of our knowledgeable pharmacists. We will coordinate with your doctors and insurance and proactively manage your refills. We will notify you before your next delivery. Let Love Oak Pharmacy help you simplify your life. We look forward to your visit.
We have with us this morning a friend of mine by the name of John Glenn, well-known column writer, and now he's here to tell us today about his new venture, the Horned Frog Firearms at 110 West Commerce Street, directly across from the main entrance to the courthouse. John is what I consider a good guy, a good friend, and a good son-in-law, and he has more knowledge about our firearms than I certainly do, and probably most other people. He has a long military background, and we're going to let him tell us why you should look here first at the gun store, and because he can help you in so many ways. Tell us what you're going to offer, first of all, John.
The first thing I'm going to offer is pistols. There's only really a few places in Eastland County where you can buy a pistol. I'm going to probably stock more pistols than anything else, but I will have long guns. I am a manufacturer. I do have a manufacturer's license. I know how to build certain of the black guns that the people, the liberal news is always bad-mouthing in the news. But I do know how to build the ARs, AKs, and the old 1911, the 45 you might have shot while you were during your service days back in, well, we won't go there.
Don't go there. Do I understand, probably from your comment, that a lot of these handguns are hard to come by because they're so popular that the manufacturers can't turn them out fast enough? Is that correct?
That is what I'm finding with a lot of distributors. I'm having a hard time getting my hands on guns or pistols to make them available to sell. I'm on a waiting list right now for 5 different models. Just for instance, Glock, the 7.
Say again?
Glock Firearms. I am on a waiting list.
Oh, okay, that's a brand name.
That's a brand name.
Which everybody but me would understand.
Back in the 80s, it was called the plastic gun that you could sneak through an airport. It's not plastic, it's polymer, and it's got a bunch of steel in it. You can't sneak it through an airport. So anyway, it had its bad name back in the 80s. But it's actually a real good firearm, and I'm trying to get those in, and lack of inventory for the better part, or lack of production, it's just overwhelming. I mean, you got the entire country trying to stock up on guns right now.
Why? Sorry.
Okay. People are scared that the way this election might turn out. They're afraid that we have a chance of losing a couple more conservative judges on the Supreme Court, and somebody I refuse to say her name, gets elected. They're afraid she's going to put liberal activist judges on there, which will reinterpret the Second Amendment. It's in the Constitution. It's in black and white. Shall not be infringed. But people want to make it say the Constitution's a living, breathing document. They want to change this thing. It wasn't meant to be changed. It was meant to be changed by amendment, by state ratification. And these people want to throw it away and restrict your right, my right, your right to have one or not to have one. They want to have it their way and no way. So people are going out buying left and right. I have a friend I talked to this morning. He's in Florida. He's a police officer, and he's telling me that all the gun stores there right before the hurricane hit sold out because people are afraid of looting and they want to defend their families. They don't want to see a remake of the Katrina problem with the mass looting going on. And he's telling me they even encourage people, if you don't have a firearm, you might want to get one.
To protect yourself and your family.
To protect yourself and your family and your property. So it's just imagine that on the nationwide level. That's why the gun stock is slowly drying up.
John, we're skirting close to the NRA, and I think we should plug them. Aren't they having a meeting here within the next week?
I believe it's October 15th. They're having a Friends of the NRA banquet at, I believe it's the lumber yard.
At the lumber yard.
Yes.
And I think tables are available and individuals can come.
Individuals can come at the door. I think they still have openings for sponsorship tables. It's a great organization. I mean, it helps speak for us in Washington. I've been a member since I was probably 10. My grandfather got my membership started.
Well, tell me briefly about your military background. I know you are skilled in self-protection and public protection.
I've had some jobs as a personal security detachment. I was an assistant PSD chief. I was a PSD chief. I've light infantry for most of my time. The things you see in the movies where they kick in the doors and make the bad guys cower in fear. I've done that. I'm a master gunner for my company. I used to be the battalion master gunner until I got out of battalion headquarters. Now I'm a company master gunner. I do pistol competitions, rifle competitions.
Tell us about that. I know you've been going to some major competitions.
I just came back from Nebraska in August. I placed 9th out of 78 people in pistols, and we don't want to talk about how I did at 400 yards on a rifle.
Well, you have an enviable background, and I think, and I'd like to say that I think the public should consider you a local expert on this because you've built the gun, you can build the guns, you know them, and let's talk a little bit about safety because I, as John Doe citizen, need to be reminded frequently what I can do and what I should not do.
There's a saying I use in the National Guard and in my military time is keep your booger hook off the bang switch. In other words, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Know what you're firing at. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. They're not toys, they're tools. I didn't bring one in here, but if I did, I could set it here on the floor and show you that it won't shoot anybody.
By itself.
By itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the liberals like to say common sense gun control. I like to say common sense gun control as in know what you're doing, respect it, don't, like I said, don't treat it as a toy. It is a tool, and like anything, if you ever banged yourself with a hammer, well, you probably did it because it was your own fault. Well, gun accidents can be prevented by not treating it as a toy, knowing. Don't point it at somebody unless you know it. You shouldn't even point it, but I'm just saying you need to make sure it's unloaded. Know what's behind your target if you're going to shoot, because as soon as it leaves the barrel, you're responsible for it. So if you're out plinking out in the county somewhere, know what you're going to hit. If you hit Farmer Johnson's cow upside the head with a 45, well, you just bought Farmer Johnson's cow.
Yeah. Well, young people particularly, is there an age group, age limit, or could a youngster have
They recommend, well, first off, you're not supposed to leave a firearm around children,
right,
unattended or anything.
Sure.
I got my first rifle, it was a 22, it was a single shot bolt action little Remington. I got that thing when I was 8 years old. So times have changed. People are more, not as rural as we used to be, but you're never too young to learn, hey, that is not a toy, don't mess with that.
Yeah.
I taught I've taught my daughter, I taught my stepkids, this is not something you play with. Don't mess with it. If you see it out, if I have a really good rule about making sure I don't leave anything out, but just in case I might have left something out, don't play with it. It's never too young to start teaching kids early.
What about let's see, is the rule always do what the policeman tells you to do?
I am by no means a law enforcement officer, but I will tell you I am pro police officer.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
So if you, in my view, if you're getting pulled over by the cops, he's just as nervous as you are, or she's just as nervous as you are. Don't make them any more nervous. Show them your hands. Don't leave them in your pockets. Don't do any sudden movements.
Because they don't like to confront people either.
Exactly. I would not, if I got pulled over after I leave here, the first thing I do is, like the old driver's ed, 10 and 2. That's where they're going to stay. And I'm going to say, hey, sir, I'm going to reach over here and grab my insurance and stuff. I just want to let you know. And I'm going to do everything to keep him at ease and go home that night.
I suspect there's not enough teaching of that going around.
I have friends through my various contacts that are law enforcement, and they are telling me that they are just assaulted on a daily basis, verbally, physically. There is no respect for law enforcement. This isn't where everybody respects the police officer or the sheriff's deputy or the sheriff anymore. It starts at home. You need to start teaching your kids respect the law. Instead, don't teach them the law is out to get you. And the worst thing my friends have always told me is they hate it when parents go, you see that police officer, I'm going to have him arrest you for being bad.
I've heard that done, and that's so ridiculous.
And that starts teaching kids at a young age to be fearful of the cops and don't respect them or whatever. It needs to be addressed. This whole situation across the country needs to come around. And
I don't know how we're going to accomplish that. I mean, you buy tickets and you buy tickets and you do this and you do this, but still people are stupid sometimes and say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. I'm sure on Interstate 20 there is so much traffic going through, it's probably best that we don't know all of the occupants of the vehicles going through here.
oh yeah.
But I really fear for our law people because they're constantly putting their life on the line, as we've seen. But anyway, what about what's the most popular handgun for the average citizen to lock up and keep by their bedside or nearby in a drawer safely away? Could it be kept loaded? Should it be kept loaded? Tell me.
It would depend on several factors: ease of use, cost. For ease of use, a revolver generally is no fail. They've been around for centuries. The 1836 Patterson, it was a revolver. Basically, you pull the hammer back like the old John Wayne cowboy gun, something like that. Or the Hawaii 5.0 Bookham Dano 38 Special. Those are very reliable pistols. You can get those anywhere ranging from probably, off the top of my head without facts, $250 and up.
Okay, good. Those are starting prices, so to speak. And they can go up to what? $900 or so?
You can get a semi-automatic, which is like the old 45 you might remember. Those can get pricey. Some people are really proud of their stuff. So as far as keeping loaded, a revolver, you always keep one on the empty chamber. The new ones nowadays, you can actually load it, and it has a safe. Some of them have safeties. You can keep it loaded and on safe, and then they recommend a safe, a small vault safe, like on your nightstand or something, that is your own personal, how your views are on that. I wouldn't recommend it if you have children that have a tendency of walking in the middle of the night. So that's owner discretion. A semi-automatic, taught this in the military. It does you no good if it ain't loaded, because that's just an extra step between you and the bad guy of having to load it.
I see. I see.
So once again, that's user owner discretion.
What would you say is the most popular personal firearm?
In my personal view, I like Glocks. I'm a
The
Glock.
what?
I like Glocks.
Glock.
Glock. Glock. I am a Glock armor. I wasn't a believer at first until I went to their school, and I'm a firm believer in it now. I love the pistol. But there's a lot of people out there that are leaning towards Beretta. There's people leaning towards Ruger.
Beretta. What is this?
Beretta is an Italian company. It's been in business, off the top of my head, that's like the 1500s. They make the M9 pistol that the U.S. military forces use now. That replaced the 45, matter of fact. But then again, they do have a plant in, I believe it's Maryland, where they make some pistols here in the States now. And that's another version. There's a whole litany of pistols out there. It's all pretty much, the worst thing to do is go buy a gun because of the name. The best thing to do is buy a gun that fits, doesn't beat you to death when it recoils.
Okay, let me interrupt you. Go into a gun store, yours or somebody else's, and handle the various things that are available to see how
it fits.
Yeah, and get some instruction on how to use it,
Yes.
because that's more important, I guess, than anything else.
Yes.
Because most are going to be pretty much like me, dumb to know what and how to do.
Right.
So they're going to need some learning.
Yes. I also am taking NRA classes to get certification to teach some of this stuff. I know some of the ideas the wife and I have thrown out is teaching women-only classes, because in the military I've learned that if you have too many people sitting there trying to teach people, and I've also learned this with Amy, excuse me, if somebody else teaches her, she learns better than she does with me teaching her, because of the fact that she wants to impress me, she wants to make me proud. I'm going to be proud regardless. But sometimes if you have that standoff and have somebody that's completely the unknown,
just grasp it better.
yes, and I've learned that through years of training people, that sometimes that's the approach you need. And like I said, Amy is my business partner, and that's one of the ideas we've thrown out there, is maybe teaching a class just for women only, no husbands allowed.
Well, now you're going to have space for that over there on
Yes.
Commerce Street, aren't you?
Yes, and I need to get with.
I think that would be a valuable asset for this area, classes.
Some of the NRA classes that I'm taking so I can instruct is like defense in the home, how to defend yourself in your house, defense outside of the home, how to protect yourself in a public setting if you have a concealed or license to carry. It goes a little bit deeper into depth on what you can do versus what you should do, that they teach you in your license to carry or your CHL class.
We have a very active gun club.
Yes.
I believe, now I understand, they have a range out at
Ringling Lake.
Ringling Lake,
Mm-hmm.
and active members, and they shoot there regularly, don't they?
Yes, I'm a member. I haven't been out there lately because, well, today it's raining, so I'm not going to drive out there.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of. Now, what do? They shoot targets.
They have a set distance targets. They have a pistol range. They have a shotgun area, and then they have a rifle area. And I believe it goes out to 100, maybe 200 yards. Don't get me wrong, or don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
I haven't been out there in a while.
Now, is that also skeet shooting where they throw?
There is I believe there is a skeet range up there, a skeet and trap range.
Yeah.
And personally, I've never used it, so I don't know the particulars. I would get a hold of somebody with the rifle club and
Yeah.
get more info on that.
Right. What about these competitions that you go to? Those are military oriented.
These are military oriented. The Patton Cup, the Wilson Cup, the Pershing Cup. You wouldn't do these in the civilian sector because maybe closest I could compare it to would be if you watch ESPN or the Outdoor Channel. Sometimes they have the 3-gun shoots, which is pistol, rifle, shotgun. There's one coming up. I just saw it on the news feed in Jacksboro, October the 26th, I believe. If possible, I would like to go to that one. But there's one this weekend.
Now that's a civilian?
Yes.
Civilian, okay.
And there's an IDPA shoot. I'm not sure. I can't remember what IDPA stands for, but it's similar to the shoots I go to. I think it's in Azle. Every other weekend is what I was told. And then there's a 3-gun shoot this weekend in Crescent, Texas. So they're out there. You just gotta Google search or whatever.
Well, are they listed in the NRA magazines and so
Some of them are listed,
Some are,
yes. Some of them are just starting out. I partner with a couple of guys out of Abilene, veteran business morale T-shirts is what they sell, and they're telling me they have a friend in Oregon that's ready to move off the left coast to Texas, and he's looking at opening up a range somewhere between Abilene and here that does military style competitions for people to get an idea of what it's like shooting like that.
That's interesting. Well, I can see where these could be valuable for John Doe citizens to get some experience and some knowledge. I guess that's how you learn to become a good shooter, is to go shoot.
It's like anything; it gets better with practice.
Yeah. So you are going to encourage people to pop in. Now your hours until you get fully stocked, and I think you've got stock coming and so forth, are going to be generally, do I see, from 1 o'clock?
9 to 5.
9 to 5. You're going to be there 9 to 5.
Unless like this week where I've had unexpected dental appointments, doctor appointments, and
That
stuff.
happens to everybody.
Hopefully, starting next week, I will be there every day.
Okay.
Saturdays are hit or miss on whether I'm going to be there, but Amy should be there.
Yeah.
She is slowly but surely becoming an expert.
Well, I saw her in action last Saturday. You had other obligations, and she was passing out cards and taking notes of people who came in and were asking good, legitimate questions.
Yes, and that's what I'm doing
That
today.
you're following up on.
That's what I'm doing today is making phone calls and telling these people what I found.
Yeah, because there were a lot of people in town, and I think you were so wise to get the shop open, and I hear nothing but compliments about how bad that's needed for people like me who don't know but need to know more about how to protect themselves and their families and their property.
Exactly.
So, you have any closing statements or anything to encourage people to respect the law and respect firearms?
Definitely respect the law. Definitely respect the firearms. And I've put in almost 20 years federal and state service in the military to defend the right for people to go out and vote. And as I tell the people in my platoon, vote. As I tell the women in my platoon, you've only had the right to vote for a little over maybe 100 years. And if you don't do it, then think of all the women in the past that fought for that right, marched for that right, were jailed for that right. You're just throwing it away.
That's right. Well, we do have an obligation. We live in the best country in the world, and we have a right and an obligation to protect it, and voting is the first step.
Exactly.
We may or may not be happy with all the possibilities, but at least every vote counts.
Exactly.
Every vote. John, I salute you. I'm proud of what you're doing, and I think the whole area, if they don't know you yet, they will. And I think you're doing a public service, and I want you to think of it in that line, because it's a badly needed service. And if you have any problems, take them to him, not to me, because he has the answer. And thank you for viewing today, and look forward to more of these sit-down chat-abouts. And if you have a non-profit or a low profit, maybe we all are, let us know, and we'd be glad to visit with you and let you tell us about your particular interest and how we can help you help others. Thank you, and come again.